Hello and welcome back to the Stronghold. I'm the Magi. That's right, I decided it was time to take an on-screen persona. And it's that time again. It's midweek, and I want you to play some magic so you can win 2 free rare or better ICRs. This week, we are giving an all access pass to the still relatively new format of Explorer. And as such, I believe there is no better time to explore the very best decks in the meta because, after all, it's all access and we don't need to own these cards. So, what better time than now to explore some different options, some different decks, and decide what may need to be your next Explorer deck to work towards as you grow your collection in a nice, budget friendly, free to play manner. But before we get into all that, allow me to do the awkward thing and promote the channel. A while back, one of my viewers was kind enough to point out that we are the only channel putting out timely midweek Magic content. So be sure to subscribe right here at the Planeswalker Stronghold for all of your future midweek Magic needs, because we will be bringing you a deck list or strategy every single week. So what do you say we put all this aside and just get to that? As we take a look at the top tier decks in the Explorer Best of One, the newness of the format really shows itself front and center. We've got mono red, mono blue, and mono green all in the top 5. That is because those mono-based decks are so much easier to build in a new format because you don't have to use all of your wild cards to expand for an expensive mana base. In fact, the 6th deck in the list was, no surprise, mono black. And if you were to look a little bit more closely at that Selesnya deck, you would realize it's really just mono white angels that is splashing green for collective company because, well, any creature-based deck that can run collective company probably should. We've explored mono red, mono blue. We have talked about the mono green elves deck in historic more than once. And I think pretty much everybody is fairly familiar with the Selesnya Angels deck from standard. That leaves one interesting deck here, the Asban deck. And to make the top 5 here and support and justify a 3-color mana base, that deck has got to be doing something awfully special. So what do you say we take a closer look at what is, I think, the most interesting deck at the top end of the Explorer format right now? All right, and of course, this deck list is all about Greasefang. For those of you who maybe aren't terribly familiar with this card from Kamigawa, excuse my mispronunciation there, he is a legendary rat pilot for 1 and Ordzal. That's a black and white 4/3 creature. At the beginning of your combat on your turn, return target vehicle card from your graveyard to the battlefield. It gains haste. Return it to its owner's hand at the beginning of your next end step. Very, very solid card. And the whole idea here is to play this on turn 3 and use it to resurrect a powerful vehicle from your graveyard. The premier choice on that is Parhelion II, typically a 6 mana 2 white legendary artifact vehicle, 5/5 flying, first strike, vigilance, crew 4, which just happens to be the crew that Greasefang can provide. Even though on turn 3 he would still have summoning sickness, he can still be tapped for things like crewing a vehicle. Whenever Parhelion attacks, create 2 4/4 white angel creature tokens with flying and vigilance that are attacking. So that's right, on turn 3 you can swing for 13. pretty solid. And of course, the Angels have Vigilance, as does Parhelion. Flying, First Strike, really good stuff there. The secondary kind of backup vehicle of choice right now is a Seeka's Chariot. I think we're all pretty familiar with this if you were around Standard for the prior couple of years. 4/4 vehicle, also a crew 4, conveniently enough. When it enters the battlefield, create 2/2 green creature tokens. When it attacks, create a token that's a copy of target token you control. So bringing this in second and then copying one of the Angels is really kind of ideal. But a lot of times you just go off on this one time and then you clean up. You never really have to go off a second time, because even if Parhelion returns to your hand off the Greasefang trigger, you still have 2 4/4s plus Greasefang, and your opponent is at 8. Or no, excuse me, 7, even in the best of conditions. Not bad at all. So that's the idea here. Land is pretty cut and dry, and since this week is an all-access event, we don't have to worry about whether we have these or not. So I would actually run the mana base exactly as it sits here. Beyond those 3 cards, we basically have a support package going on. Stitcher Supplier is our 1-drop creature. When it enters the battlefield or dies, mill 3 cards. Obviously, we are trying to mill one of these little bad boys into our yard. Thoughtseize. Target player reveals their hand. You choose a non-land card from it. That player discards that card. You lose 2 life. There is absolutely no text or ruling on Thoughtseize which prevents you from targeting yourself. So if you happen to have one of your key vehicle targets for resurrection in your hand, you can Thoughtseize it for the cost of only 2 life, 1 card, and 1 black mana. Pretty good. Rafine's Informant, Connives, another way to get cards into your graveyard. Seasoned Hollow Blade, discard a card, tap Seasoned Hollow Blade. It gains indestructible until end of turn. Please note, when it comes to Seasoned Hollow Blade, it doesn't have to be under duress of any kind. You can just wait till your end of turn 2, discard a card, and give it indestructible for no other reason other than to put a card in your graveyard. Good stuff. Mulch, reveal the top 4 cards of your library. Put all land cards revealed this way into your hand and the rest of your cards into your graveyard. So again, it's an essentially mill up to 4 cards into your graveyard. Good stuff. I'm going to skip ahead to Grisly Salvage. Reveal 5 cards. You may put a creature or land card from among them into your hand. Put the rest into your graveyard. Please note the wording on that second sentence. You may put a creature or land. That is an option. So you can choose not to do that if your only viable creature is something that you want to put in your graveyard. Also a nice way to maybe get to that turn 3 Greasefang if you don't already have it in hand. Witherbloom Command, choose 2. Target player mills 3, then return a land card from your graveyard to your hand. Destroy target non-creature. Target creature gets -3, -1, or opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. So this is a nice little way to buy you time and potentially mill that key creature into your graveyard again, just in time for that crucial turn 3 Greasefang. It also allows you to deal with pesky aggro decks that maybe are putting a little too much pressure on your life total. Excuse me. Or you can destroy target non-creature, non-land. So when the timing on that would be wrong. I started to say you could use this to destroy your own Parhelion, but the sorcery and the timing on the Greasefang trigger would not allow that. So, haha, just kidding. So that is the basics of the deck here.
What's that? You didn't catch all that? Well, Matt would like you to know that
Any deck list applicable to this video can be found down in the doobly-doo. Hey, let's not forget, the whole reason to participate in these totally free midweek Magic events is the prize support is awesome. And don't forget, if this video gets just 10 likes by 8 p.m. tonight on the day of release, I will be live playing this on my Twitch channel. And with all that having been said, don't forget, smash that like button like Ronnie J would. And until next time, I'll see you in the arena.